Alright, it's quite handy that we saw these different places that we can make configuration changes. If I were to add a 10th one, it would probably be something like at the hardware level or at the BIOS firmware level, but I did not include that in this list. But it's nice that we know these different things now, because I want to talk about the two places that we might deal with devices and device drivers, and they are two completely different places. In the case of devices, we're going to deal with them in a UWP app, the Settings app. And in the case of device drivers, we're going to deal with them in the Driver Manager MMC. So let's take a look at those two locations. If I want to deal with device configurations themselves, I will do that in the Settings app. I'm going to go here to Start, and then Settings, and then Devices. And you'll see here I have Bluetooth devices and other devices, printers and scanners, the mouse, the keyboard, and so on. If I take a look at some of these, not all of them, but some of them, for example, printers, and I'll just choose a printer here and click on that, you can see I can manage that printer. So this is where I manage devices themselves. I might set, for example, printing preferences. And printing preferences is, well, what type of paper do I want to use? Do I want to print one-sided or two-sided? Do I want color? Do I want black and white? What do I want as my default printing style for that particular printer? Well, I can change all of that here in this device area where I can, the Settings app, where I set devices. Not all of them have it, as I said. If I click up here on Bluetooth devices and click, say, on the keyboard, you notice I have remove, but I don't have a manage. Same thing here with the mouse and so on. Speakers, I can remove them, but I can't really manage them because there aren't really any settings here that I can make to those. But there certainly are in some of these others, such as printers and scanners and the mouse. There's not too much here on the mouse, except I can change some things like left or right button, how many lines do I want to scroll at a time, and then I have some additional mouse options here on the right hand side that if I click actually takes me to the control panel setting for the mouse. Alright, so that's where we set up and manage device settings themselves. But what about device drivers? The device driver is a completely different place. It's an MMC, the devmgmt.msc. So this is a Microsoft Management Snap-in Console, or Microsoft Common Console document, as it says. When I open that up, it opens an MMC with different devices and the drivers for those devices. Now we're going to talk quite a bit more about what's in these, because if I go to properties, you'll see I've got a whole bunch of stuff in these. So we're going to talk more about drivers as we go along in this chapter. But I want you to be aware that if I want to deal with drivers, then I would go here to the Device Manager and MMC Snap-in. And if I want to deal with devices themselves, I would go to the Settings app and then to the Devices tab, the two different areas where you deal with devices and device drivers.